The diplomatic hall of the Chrythonian Empire buzzed with tension as Ambassador Lyrith stood before the assembled council. Her scales shimmered under the artificial light, a deep purple that marked her as royalty among her kind. Beside her, clutching her elegant robes, stood little Zara, a child of merely 7 cycles, with curious golden eyes that seemed far too wise for her age. Kevin Chen tried to remain invisible in the back row, his human frame dwarfed by the towering alien dignitaries surrounding him. He was just a junior xenolinguist, assigned to this mission 3 months ago when the translation AI had catastrophically failed during first contact. Nobody expected him to be anything more than a footnote in history. "The tradition is sacred," Lyrith announced, her voice carrying through the chamber with practiced authority. "For 3,000 years, the heir to the Chrythonian throne has chosen their parent's bondmate. It ensures our leaders marry for wisdom, not passion, for the good of our people, not personal desire." The human delegation shifted uncomfortably. This was supposed to be a simple trade negotiation, rare minerals in exchange for Earth's agricultural technology. Nobody had anticipated the ambassador would invoke an ancient ritual in the middle of diplomatic proceedings. "My daughter Zara will choose," Lyrith continued, her voice softening as she looked down at the child, "and I will honor that choice, as my ancestors have before me. Such is our way." Kevin watched as Zara's eyes swept across the room, studying each being with an intensity that made seasoned diplomats squirm. The child had been present at every meeting, every negotiation, every cultural exchange. She had listened to everything, absorbed everything, said nothing until now. Zara's small hand rose, one delicate finger extending. The room fell silent. She pointed directly at Kevin. The chamber erupted. Chrythonian councillors hissed in multiple dialects. The human delegation looked ready to faint. Ambassador Marcus Hevis Kevin Superior turned a shade of red that probably violated several biological norms. Kevin's mind went blank. This couldn't be happening. This was a joke, a mistranslation, a diplomatic nightmare wrapped in a cultural catastrophe. But Lyrith simply nodded, as if this was the most natural thing in the universe. "So it shall be, that human Kevin Chen shall be my bondmate." "Absolutely not." Ambassador Reeves shot to his feet. This is ridiculous. He's 24 years old. He's a junior linguist. We can't just. "The child is chosen," one of the Chrythonian elders intoned. "To reject this choice is to reject our culture, our tradition, our very offer of alliance." The room fell into chaos. Kevin found himself being pulled into a side chamber by Jasmine Rodriguez, the mission's chief cultural liaison. Her dark eyes blazed with a mixture of fury and barely contained panic. "What did you do?" Jasmine demanded, her voice low and urgent. "Nothing," Kevin insisted. "I've barely spoken to either of them. I just translated documents and sat in the back during meetings." "Think, Kevin, the child studied everyone for 3 months. She chose you for a reason." Jasmine paced, her mind racing through every cultural briefing, every anthropological note. In Chrythonian culture, the heir doesn't choose based on attraction or political advantage. They choose based on character. Kevin whispered, the pieces falling into place. They choose the person who demonstrates the qualities their people need most. Jasmine stopped pacing. What did you do differently? What did she see? Kevin's mind raced back through 3 months of tedious meetings. He'd been background noise, practically furniture, except the garden incident, he said slowly. 2 weeks ago, during the cultural exchange, one of their junior attendants knocked over a ceremonial plant. Everyone ignored it, too focused on the important people talking. I helped replant it, spent an hour in the dirt while the diplomats networked. That's it. Jasmine looked skeptical, and I always made sure the translations were precise. Even when Ambassador Reeves wanted me to soften certain demands to make us look better, I refused. Told him honesty was more important than appearing strong. And last week, Kevin continued, remembering, when the power failed during the midnight shift, I shared my rations with the Chrythonian security detail. They were hungry, and protocols about proper meal timing seemed stupid in an emergency. Jasmine's expression shifted from panic to understanding, humility, honesty, compassion. Even when no one important was watching, especially when no one important was watching, Kevin corrected. The door opened. Zara stood there alone, her golden eyes fixed on Kevin. For a moment, she looked like the child she was, small and uncertain. Then she spoke, her voice clear despite her youth. The humans are powerful but young. They reach for the stars with hungry hands. My people are old and cautious. We have forgotten how to grow. She stepped closer to Kevin. You do small kindnesses when they earn no reward. You speak truth when lies would serve you better. You help those beneath you as readily as those above. These are qualities both our peoples need. Kevin knelt to her eye level. That's very wise, Zara, but I'm not sure I'm qualified to marry an ambassador and help bridge to civilizations. Nobody is qualified, Zara said simply. Until they are. The human delegation argued for 3 more days. The Chrythonians remained immovable. In the end, it was Jasmine who brokered the compromise, a bondmate arrangement that would last 1 year, during which Kevin would serve as a cultural liaison between their peoples. If after 1 year both parties agreed, it would become permanent. If not, the bond could be dissolved with honor on both sides. Kevin stood in the ceremonial chamber 6 days after being chosen, wearing robes that combined human and Chthonian designs. Leorath approached, her movements graceful, her expression unreadable. "I don't love you," she said quietly. "I don't love you either," Kevin replied honestly. "But my daughter saw something in you that I have been too proud to see in any of my own people: the willingness to be small, to serve, to care about things that matter more than power." She extended her hand in the human custom. "Perhaps we can learn from each other." Kevin took her hand. 1 year, 1 year, she agreed. In the back of the chamber, Jasmine caught Kevin's eye and gave him a small smile. He'd been thrust into the most unlikely diplomatic position in human history, chosen by a child who saw potential where everyone else saw insignificance. Maybe that was the most human thing of all, the ability to surprise the universe when it least expected it. The ceremony began, and 2 civilizations took their first real step toward understanding each other, all because a 7-year-old girl pointed at the person who watered plants when no one was looking. The end.